What's going on, everybody? So today, again, starting the video off at my desk in my loft with no railing. Everybody thinks I'm gonna die, but I'll be fine, I promise. All right, so the reason I'm starting all these videos at my desk is because I didn't really do good intros to him while Tommy's car was here, and obviously the car is no longer here, but we want to get the videos out. So we wanted to make sure that Tommy had a chance to post his videos and, you know, talk all about it and everything else. So we want to give him that opportunity, and then we'll post ours so that you guys can look at his and then come back and look at mine. And it's pretty cool. You see the finished product, then you get to see how it was made. So, other thing, we're using a new type of audio recording. So hopefully our audio is going to be way better than it was before, because the audio is absolutely horrendous on these GoPros. But I love the wide angle. I love the video quality of the GoPro. I just can't stand the audio. So we're trying something new. We'll see how that works out. It's a little bit more difficult in post-production, but for you guys, it'll be a way better to listen to me. You won't have to hear all the scratching and creaking to the GoPro audio and all that other stuff. So that's what we're doing. Today's video is going to be all about the titanium intercooler piping. Now, I know that's what you guys are most interested in, is all that titanium work. I'm going to show you that titanium work. We're going to go step by step with it. It's going to be a pretty long video, but I think you guys will enjoy it. So sit back, relax, check it out. We'll go from there. All right, guys. What's going on, guys? So I haven't been filming very much at all throughout this process on this S15. What little bit I have filmed is mostly going to be welding stuff. I don't necessarily want to give away the car before Tommy puts his video up. So basically, you guys are going to be seeing all of these videos that we made. There should be 2 or 3 of them on this S15 after Tommy posts his video. So you guys will be able to see the finished product, and then you'll be able to run over to my channel and see all the build process of everything. So what I'm going to do right now is give you a recap of what we've done, what's going on, and everything else. Now, you guys saw me do the downpipe. What you guys didn't see and what I didn't film is I didn't film actually doing the wastegate flange and the wastegate dump and all that other stuff, which is recirc back in. But if you follow me on Instagram, you'll be able to see all of the pictures of everything that I've done thus far, because I have been taking pictures, I just haven't been videoing it. So where we're at right now is basically Tommy came down and grabbed the downpipe, the exhaust manifold, the turbo. He's having all of it jet hot coated black, so it's going to look pretty sick in this engine bay. We built the turbo side intake pipe, again, of course, all pie cut titanium. We're also have the mid pipe here that we built for it, and currently we're working on this side of the piping. Now, I'm going to tell you, it is oddly satisfying to have cut that gigantic hole in one of Tommy's cars, because he is so particular about how things go that to have him say, hey, that looks good, is actually pretty cool. So we cut the hole in there. We're going to be running the 3.5-inch titanium off of the throttle body, pie cutting it down through the hole, and then ultimately coming down here and into the intercooler. So that's what we're working on today. We've actually got the whole section mapped out that's going to go through the body. Then we're going to put a straight piece on the end of here, and then do more pie cuts, come down, and we're going to weld all that up. So we actually had to stop in between, because even though I have 600 cubic feet of argon, that tank there is almost empty. That tank there is about half full. So we're blowing through argon like crazy with all these pie cuts. So we actually, you can't see it, but we actually had to go get another tank. So what I'm going to do today for you guys is basically, I'm going to go over a little bit of titanium work and a little bit of what it takes to actually weld titanium. It's a lot more difficult than doing stainless. It's a lot more difficult than doing aluminum, but once you get the hang of it, it's really not that bad. It's all about prep. That's the one thing. Clean it up with acetone. We'll go through the whole process. So I'm going to set you guys up so that you can see. We'll go over all that stuff, and then, yeah, we'll be good. All right, guys, so this is going to be sort of a minor, once we get the camera straightened out here, this is going to be sort of like an intro to welding titanium. Now, I don't expect that much of you are going to have the means or the opportunity, or, you know, it doesn't arise very often. Titanium market is very small. So when you do get it, if you do get it and you're going to weld it, there's a lot of things you need to know about it. Now, number one, titanium, and you've heard me say this before, is a reactive metal. What I mean by reactive is it reacts to oxygen like you would not believe. It does some really, really horrible stuff. Now, you can see this in the tacks that I've done on this. If you look on the inside of that metal, you see those little white dots in there? Those little tiny white dots are not good. That's the metal reacting with the oxygen. And then you can see on some of these tacks, there's a little bit of color and there's kind of a hole blown through it right there. When there's no backing of argon in this material, it reacts with the air so violently that it will actually destroy itself. And on top of that, you won't get full penetration on your weld. You'll get all kinds of goofy stuff going on. So what we tend to do, and what you guys see me doing a lot, and yeah, we'll get rid of this O-ring before we start welding, but you cover one end of it with foil, and then we take the other end of our purge hose, which is here, and we'll stick that in the end there, and then we will also cover that end with foil, and then we'll fill this entire part with argon, which displaces all the oxygen and therefore gives us the opportunity to get a weld that fully penetrates the entire part. Now, the other thing that is super important with this is argon coverage on the top. So now, normally when you're welding, you're utilizing either, you know, when I'm doing stainless, I use a number 12 cup, which is about 3/4 of an inch in diameter. Now, this particular cup I use for stainless gives me decent argon coverage and allows me to do all the cool colorful stuff or non-colorful stuff with stainless that I want to do. Now, when you're doing titanium, you need a much bigger cup. And the reason you need a much bigger cup is not necessarily to provide more argon coverage to make a better weld. It's literally so that I can weld farther without the back end of the weld being out of the argon coverage. Because with titanium, the one thing that takes so long about welding these pie cuts is I can literally set up and I can weld from here to here, and I have to stop. So I can literally only do about an inch at a time, or whatever the argon cup is. So what I'll do is I'll take my tungsten and I'll extend it out a little bit more. By extending it out, I can hold it a little bit higher, run a little higher CFH on the argon, and actually push argon, which means that I can weld an 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches at a time maybe. Now, just to give you guys an idea, on this particular pipe right here, it is a 3.5 inch pipe, which gives me roughly a 10.5 inch circumference. Now, add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 individual welds. Let's just say 10 inches per weld. That's 160 inches of welding. Now, 160 inches is what, 13, 14, 15 feet of weld? And only being able to do 1 inch at a time sucks. Because now you have to light up, go your inch, wait 10 seconds for the argon flow, then start again, do an inch, and then just keep doing that over and over and over again. So for 6 inches of weld, that's a minute of argon purge. Now, you don't think that minute adds up, but this part literally right here, this will take me 3 hours just to weld this particular part. Then the rest of it is probably going to take the rest of the afternoon. Plus, add on top of that that it is 90 degrees in the shop today and ultra humid, and I'll be sitting behind a welding hood over a hot part, over titanium, trying to make sure that I do not blow a hole in $2,000 worth of material. So those are some of the considerations you need to look at when you're welding titanium. It is a very, very difficult metal to work with. Once you get all the prep correct and you get everything set up, then you're good. Now, as far as prep goes, the way that I prep these is, you'll see me handling this with no gloves right now. I'm putting fingerprints all over this piece. Now, when you weld titanium, because it is so reactive, if there are any residual fingerprints, oils, greases, anything on this, when you weld it, that will be burned into this metal forever, and you cannot get rid of it no matter what you do. So before I weld these things, I put on my gloves, I clean everything with acetone, and then I never touch it again with my bare hands until it is completely welded. Once it's completely welded, you can touch it, because then you can just clean it with acetone again and everything is fine. But do not touch it before you start welding it or after you've cleaned it, because you will destroy it for the most part. Now what we're going to be looking for when we weld this material, color wise, everybody loves that titanium can be colored and everything else. However, when you're welding titanium, you do not want any color other than a light straw color. Anything other than a light straw color means that you heated the metal too much, you took it out of the argon flow too soon, and ultimately you compromise the integrity of that weld. So now, once you've compromised the integrity of the weld, you've technically compromised the integrity of the part. And being that titanium is so expensive, you do not want to do that. So hence why we can only weld an inch at a time. And some of you might say, well, yeah, you can get a trailing cup, which the trailing cup will actually give you the argon coverage so that you can move further. However, I found the best thing is take your time, be methodical, be very clean, make sure you have back purge, and then just kind of get your rhythm down. Because the first couple of welds on any titanium piece that I do, they're a little tall or a little high or they're sunk too far or whatever. But once you get your groove, you're good. And now the other thing too with titanium is, remember, this piece is 1 millimeter thick. We're running about 40-45 amps roughly. This way I can full pedal it and it's a little bit easier to manipulate. But you're welding material that is only 1 millimeter thick. So if you've got a good grade of titanium like this CP1 titanium from Ticon Industries, you usually won't have too much trouble. But when I welded the Tomei exhaust on Tommy's car, when I welded a V-band flange to that, that titanium is not quite as high a grade as the Ticon Industry stuff, which made it a little bit more difficult because it's very easy to blow a hole through it. They say it's a millimeter thick, but measured it ended up being 0.95 millimeters thick. So a little thinner than I was expecting, a little less heat needed, and back purging that whole tube was a huge pain, but we got it done. So that is the deal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to set you guys up in time lapse so you can actually watch me do this particular thing. Now it's going to take a while. We're probably going to switch cameras in between because the battery in this camera is not going to last for as long as it takes me to do this. Or what I may do is just time lapse until the battery runs out, and you know, that should give about an hour or so, 4 or 5 minutes of me actually welding this stuff. But yeah, I'm going to take you guys along. You'll get to see it. So here we go.
When I saw you, I would lose control. Made me feel like there was no tomorrow. Should've told you that you're beautiful, but the days pass and now it's so long ago. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too. You to deal with my sorrow. Just a memory, just a broken frame, and I know that I have no one else to blame. And I know that I have no one else to blame. Did you make it? Did you break free? Did you manage to be who you wanna be? Maybe somewhere you think about me too.
Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that video. Again, the updates are weird, you know, whatever else, but that's the end of that series, so hopefully we'll be moving on to something cool again very shortly. But anyway, I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Brian over at Tycon Industries and Stainless Bros. Now, all the materials you saw me use in this video, in all 3 videos as a matter of fact, were all Tycon Industries for the titanium and Stainless Bros for the stainless steel. I cannot tell you how amazing this stuff is to work with. It is absolutely flawless when you get it. It's polished, it's ready to weld, each piece is individually packed. You guys know I love Tycon, you guys know I love Stainless Bros. I'm going to put their links in the description of the video. Go check them out, use them for all your needs. Talk to Brian, he's a really super cool guy. And yeah, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a wonderful weekend, and I will, yeah, I already said I'd see you on the next one. Have a good day, everybody.